rest of them. Now, I've been there before, but not since the Horizons Season 2 pack came out, and I'm quite excited about the fact that I could actually land on some of the planets. Now, bearing in mind that you can only land on rocky and ice planets, but there are a couple of them in the solar system we're in. I'll let you work out which ones they are. Yeah, so we're going to head there. It's going to be quite a trip. I've kind of assembled a ship especially designed for this. So we are in a ASP Explorer. If we go to Starport Services, I'll show you around it a little bit. So if we just go a good kind of look here, you can see I've got a gold paint job on it, so it looks pretty fancy. It has got a exceptionally good jump range, so it can jump 25 light years, which is the highest in the game currently. It's got a massive fuel tank. It's also the fastest ship in the game as well. We've got all the scanners we need as well, necessary, and also we've got our, of course, SRV vehicle bay all ready for the job. So we're currently in the LHS-20 system. Let's have a look and see. First off, I'll tell you what, I'll show you around the cockpit a little bit. So one of the things I love about the ASP is this kind of wide open cockpit, which gives you pretty much a 180 plus view around. So it's really nice and open. You can see down there my feet and all around. And for those of you who might be lucky enough to have purchased an Oculus Rift, which is just starting to come out now, you'll actually be able to use one of those in Elite Dangerous, and just by moving your head around you'll be able to have a look around, which would be pretty incredible, I think. I haven't got one myself, but I look forward to the day when I do, because I think this game would work exceptionally well with it. So yeah, that's the inside. It's quite nice. It's fairly small compared to the rest of the ship. I mean, sometimes people get a little bit or kind of forget that these spaceships actually are massive. They are huge. This ASP is probably the size of bigger than a Boeing 747. So the cockpit can sometimes look very small, but that's just because that's the cockpit, as it were. And it doesn't necessarily tell you the rest. In the same way, the cockpit on a jumbo jet is quite small. It doesn't tell you the true extent of the size of the jumbo jet. So yeah, there we go. Now then, what we need to do is we need to set a course for Sol. So we're going to go to the galaxy map here, and we're going to enter Sol. Well, not Dol, Sol. And you can see that is the Sol solar system right there. Now, the issue kind of is here is that I think we're going to be too far away to actually set a course there. So let's see if we can't maybe set a course somewhere else, and then from there we'll be able to get to the Sol solar system. As you can see, the actual size of the galaxy, mind-boggling. I was listening to or watching a video by somebody called Obsidian Ant. It's a great channel, you should check it out if you're interested in more kind of Elite Dangerous content. It's also quite relaxing as well to watch it, but I think he was saying something like the actual extent of player explored galaxy currently is 0.007% of the entire galaxy, and that to get to 1%, I think he said, would take up another 250 years. Bear in mind, 1% of the systems in this galaxy, in this game. I think there's something like guess, set off on our journey. Now, one of the things I love about the Asp is the sound of the engines. It's really, really nice sounding, so it kind of sounds a bit like a cross between a helicopter and a cat purring, I think, but it's really good. Also hear the voice of our ship's computer there. I'm toying around at the minute with some of the voice packs you can get within Elite Dangerous, which are fantastic. They, again, if you don't know what they are, check out Obsidian Ant's videos on them. They're really good. There's one coming out soon, which is voiced by William Shatner, which is incredible, really. So basically, it'll be the sound of your ship's computer, your kind of companion. The one we currently have is called Verity, and I'm kind of playing around and, with getting that all kind of set up, but it's a lot to do with kind of speech recognition software and stuff like that. So at the minute, we just have the basic one that comes with the game. But maybe I'll do some videos in the future with that voice back, because it's a lot of fun actually when it works. But that's the thing, you have to train the computer to really learn your voice. As we go through, we're going to do some scanning as well, because basically we'll earn money doing it, so we might as well while we're going along. And one of the things I've actually decided to do is to do more exploration within Elite Dangerous. I've been kind of focusing on the grind of getting money and, you know, doing missions and trading and doing combat stuff, but kind of watching kind of other people's videos and reading more about it and stuff like that. The kind of deep space exploration, you know, discovering new planets, things like that. Black holes as well, you know, things like that. Neutron stars sounds really fascinating, and is something that I'm kind of very interested in. You'll see my fuel scoop there is active. Try and got too close. Whoops. Whoopsie. I'm a little out of practice with the old fuel scoop, so you'll have to excuse me, but just give us a good sound. Good. Right, you can hear the engines there on the Asp, just purring away. You can see them as I decelerate, just in the left and right side there, the kind of reverse thrusters. Because of course, if you kind of think about space, there's no resistance to your ship moving, so if you go forward, you know, it's not like in a car or in an aeroplane where if you kind of lower the throttle, you'll just lower the power to the engine and the resistance will slow you down. In space, you actually have to have reverse thrust in the opposite direction to the way you're going, otherwise you will continue indefinitely. Now we're going to take a little bit of heat damage because we're jumping so close to a star, but just enjoy the fireworks. It's all good. We only took 2% hull damage, so nothing major, but we have got a massive kind of fuel tank on this thing, so I don't know how many stops we'll have to take, and it will now go back down to its normal. There you go, we filled it up. 53 astronomical objects found. Wowzers. That's a few, isn't it? We're not going to hang around too much and exploring things. I could do kind of detailed scannings on things, but we're just going to do the kind of basic scan as we get to each system, and then jump to the next one. So I'd like us to get to Sol within a reasonable time, so that we can have a good look at the system, maybe do some landings and things like that. We're actually going to have to go past the sun by the looks of it. It's time.
Fuel scooping. Fuel scooping complete. Fuel scoop disengaged. Frameshift drive charging.
I've got a good fuel scoop as well, so it won't take too long to actually fill it up, which is good.
Ready to engage. 3, 2, 1, engage. Fuel scooping. Fuel scoop disengaged. Frameshift
So
drive
look how many
charging.
more jumps we've got. 8 more jumps. So, as I was saying, one of the things I want to concentrate on is more exploration and going out there, discovering new things, getting out into deeper space, because there's a whole lot of rumours coming out about things that are going to happen in a recent kind of
Fuel scooping. Fuel scooping complete.
in a recent
Frameshift
live stream done by some of the developers of Elite Dangerous. One of the things there's been lots of rumours about basically aliens, and one of the things they said was they were talking about kind of outfitting exploration vessels. And one of the things they said was, if you're going into the outer kind of outer rim, the outer unexplored systems, then at the minute you don't need any weapons because there's nothing really that dangerous out there. You're not going to find pirates or anything like that. But that could change in the future, and
Fuel scooping. Fuel
a lot of
scoop
people are kind of
disengaged.
taking that to mean that there's going to be
Frameshift drive charging.
aliens coming, which would be really fascinating, actually. Really, really fascinating how that would change things in this game, I think. That's one of the things that I actually like best about Elite Dangerous is the fact that the game is kind of always evolving. It's very different to when I first played it. Not just from the Horizons stuff, but just from the things you can do and in the game and the things people have kind of discovered, and being a sandbox, you can just kind of keep playing with it, keep adding things. But one of the criticisms people have got of this game is that there's not enough kind of story content within it, not enough kind of lore, as it were, I guess. Not your usual kind of questing system that there probably will be. If you look at Star Citizen, which is probably Elite Dangerous' biggest competitor, they're doing a whole section of the game which is just kind of story quests and things like that, and then there's also kind of story missions in the sandbox thing, a bit more detailed than there is in Elite. But it could be interesting if they bring aliens in, how they adapt that, how things change.
Fuel scooping. Fuel scooping complete. Fuel scoop disengaged.
So yeah,
Frameshift drive
how many more
charging.
jumps we got? Four jumps to Kruger. 60. yeah, so I think it could be very interesting. So I want to kind of get out there to the outer rim, as it were. Do a bit of exploration. It seems to be that's where a lot of things are happening right now. So that's cool. Look at this purple star.
Frameshift drive charging.
3 jumps. As I say, that's not too solid, but it looked like it was one of the closest places we could get to before going there. Because there is a limit to how far the computer can kind of navigate. As you can see, our field is basically untouched at the minute, so... Because that's one of the things you have to think about when you go further out. There's not going to be space stations, because they just haven't expanded that far. You know, there's not everywhere you go in the known galaxy, or, you know, in the galaxy there isn't space stations everywhere, so you have to fend for yourself.
Frameshift drive charging.
But one of the great things is that when you discover a system yourself, discover planets, whenever anybody goes and finds those planets in the system map, it will be tagged with your name on it, which is pretty cool. And obviously, with there being kind of, you know, 40 billion odd systems, there's a good chance that, you know, you can find one yourself.
Fuel scooping. Fuel scoop disengaged.
Here we go, coming up to Groove 60, and then we can have a look again and see where it is we want to get to next. Okay. So now we're into the Groove 60 area. I guess we might as well scan it first. No, I didn't think we'd find anything. Let's go to the galaxy map. See if we can't get to Sol. Let's don't know why it's doing that thing where it's not letting us select it. Could actually be on our kind of thing here. Yeah, it is. There we go. Might as well use the jump capability. So here we go. Off into Sol.
Frameshift drive charging.
Okay, so
Disengaged.
let's throttle down a bit so I don't go mildly, and let's have a look at what we've got. So we've got Mercury, obviously. Well, starts off with the sun, nav beacon as usual. We've got Mercury. We can land on the Mercury. We've got Venus. We've got Earth. Sorry, well, where am I going? Okay. We've got Earth. We've got the Moon. As well, we can't land on the Moon. We've got Mars. We've got Jupiter. We've got Callisto, which we can land on, which I think is a moon of Jupiter. So let me use, we've got, there we are, Jupiter, Ganymede, Io, Europa. Europa's quite a famous moon of Jupiter because a lot of people think it could possibly have water on it. We've got Saturn with its moons, Iapetus, Rhea, Diona, Titan, Tethys, Enceladus. We've got Uranus, which is Oberon, Titania, Ariel, Umbria, Neptune, which is Triton, Charon, and then Pluto. And then the next closest one is the, well, famous because of the game, I guess, Alpha Centauri. So, yeah, let's go to Mercury, I guess, and we'll do a little flyby of each planet, and then maybe we'll come back and we'll do a little landing as well on some of the moons and things like that as well, and have a look. But we'll do a scan, but I would imagine it's highly unlikely we find anything. Yeah. I think the solar system would probably have been explored. So Mercury, very well known, being the closest to the sun, scorched kind of planet, desert type planet. And now we're coming up to it, kind of getting your first look of it. As I said, there are settlements on Mercury. I think there's settlements on nearly every planet in the solar system, as you kind of would imagine. Here we are. I think we might kind of go down to the surface, but not actually land, and instead have a look, I think, at the surface of Mercury. You see all the kind of pock marks on it, where meteorites and asteroids have hit it over numerous years. Also, another thing to bear in mind is that in Elite Dangerous, it's the year 3308, I think, or something very close to that. So you're talking a good kind of 1,300 years in the future plus.
Orbital flight engaged.
There we go. So things may look a little different to how you see them now, in particular on Earth and Mars, but we'll get to that. So Mercury there, I can see it's got 0.35 Earth G, so a lot less atmosphere as I said, there's only a few planets we can actually visit, moons as well. But hopefully in upcoming expansions, that will change. I mean, you have to kind of be a bit realistic and think, how on earth would I be able to fly around Earth? I mean, to be, because I can go at any point on this planet and go to it and explore, and obviously it's all kind of procedure generated, but but how would I go about doing that on Earth? It would be, all the cities and landmarks and things like that would just be impossible, So I don't know if that's ever going to be able to actually fly onto Earth. It might be a small section of it you could go to, or like there could be a port you could land at in there. But I mean, it would be pretty crazy. I'll tell you what, we've got quite a nice little landing zone here, I think. So let's drop ourselves down.
Landing gear deployed.
And we'll jump out in the buggy. I know I said we'll do this on the way back, but I think we can have a quick little look around. On the surface of Mercury. You can have a look at our ship as well while we're here. I really do like the look of the Asp. It's quite an interesting looking ship, and the front of it as well is definitely interesting. Now, one of the cool things I think anyway about the ships in Elite Dangerous is quite often their specific shapes. So in other words, the Asp is pentagon, I think, in shape, five-sided. Or it's kind of a bit more hexagony here, but and you can see the cockpit there, and you get things like the Viper, which is like a triangle, and they're all kind of like different shapes, but kind of quite square. It's a gorgeous looking ship actually, and that's obviously because the original Elite, very, 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 very old game, but an amazing game. It had a very rudimentary. We've got a bit of a. Nice. It had a kind of rudimentary graphic system, so you could only kind of model very basic shapes, and so the ships kind of came out of those shapes. But then in Elite Dangerous and other Elites, as the graphics got better and better, they still kind of. I think it looks amazing. This ship, definitely from behind, it looks incredible. We'll jump back in now and take off, but yeah, saying it. They've still kept the kind of look of those ships, which is great. So the Viper's still kind of vaguely there we go. The Viper's still kind of triangularly shaped. The Cobra still looks the same. Asp still looks the same. Third Lance, things like that. Anaconda, Python. Okay, so what are we going to set what's for next? So there's a space station called Daedalus from Mercury. It's interesting that we're actually closer to Earth than we There's still something I think very special about taking off from a planet and just kind of pointing yourself into space and then hitting that boost button. Let's have a look actually. Let's have a little free look while we're doing it. You can see there the planet just to the side of us as we go up. Quite incredible, I think. When I think about when I was a young kid playing video games, in the last 20 years or so, how far they've come, to think in another 20 years what they could be, it's just mind-blowing, really. Absolutely mind-blowing. So we might as well get to I believe I am aligned. There we go. Okay, so we've got the sun there. You can just see Venus coming up. We'll do a flyby Venus. I don't think we can land on Venus. No, we can't. And then of course we'll go to our planet, planet Earth. I don't think we'll still be able to see the planet now. As you can see, Mercury, I suppose, still looking a bit Mercury-like, really. Very barren kind of planet. Exceptionally hot temperature as well there. I don't know precisely, but being so close to the sun, extremely hot. Venus is a planet which people have talked about terraforming as well. Obviously hundreds of years away in the future to be able to do anything like that, but as well as Mars, it's Venus is a possibility. It obviously has an extremely poisonous atmosphere, which is a massive problem, but in the same way that Mars is perhaps a little bit too cold, Venus is a little bit too hot, so but certainly possible in the future that humans could, terraform or colonize Venus. The thought of human beings living on another planet, I guess, is, when you kind of think about it, you think, could happen, sure, no problem, but that would probably be the most monumental step in human history, for humans to actually be able to go and live on another planet. Would be incredible. I think we're going way too fast here. Might lose Venus a little bit, so we might have to just flip ourselves around a little bit. But we can see there we go. Here she is. I love that kind of green tinge we've got there on the see so many planets, billions and billions of planets in this game. And to think currently the entire human race is just on one of those planets. You know, it would only take one thing to happen to that planet, and that would be the end of the entire human race. I'm sure that won't happen, of course, but you know, one of my favourite films of previous years is called Interstellar. I don't know if you ever watched it, but it's a really, really good film by Christopher Nolan. Matthew McConaughey stars in it, and it's a really kind of, I think, thought-provoking film as well, as to the kind of, you know, there's been lots of talk because, you know, the American government has cut a lot of funding to NASA, you know, compared to how it was when there was the space race between them and the Russians many years ago, during the kind of Cold War era. You know, and you know, it's a very small fraction of the amount of money that they actually spend on exploration, but many people argue that, you know, we should be spending more collectively as a race of people on outer space, you know, thinking about that, because you know, you never know what can happen. Okay, so we're coming up to Earth now. Just see it starting to get a little bit bigger. Here it is. You can see the weather systems there in Earth, and which part of it is there. So it looks like this is kind of Japan, Asia kind of area. You got kind of India as well. Be the kind of Indian Ocean. See if I can find the UK. I mean, I should be able to. I've got a pretty good idea where it is. Looks like there's a hurricane there currently. You can see the eye of the hurricane. Mother Gaia, Earth-like world. Definitely is an Earth-like world, that is for sure. There's the moon off in the distance there. Oh, got a bit too close. My bad. We'll just scoot out a bit so we can get a better view.
Frameshift drive
So you kind of think of them as being in a straight line. You know, all the planets aligned like that. It's obviously not quite the way it happens. Here we go. Here we go. So I think this is Africa here, isn't it? Yeah, we've got India just there to the right. We've got Africa here. That would be like the Suez Canal around there. So you've got kind of Egypt as well, Africa. So we need to go a bit further and just be getting into Europe here. And here we are, that's Spain. And you can see England there, yeah, England. Things do look a little bit different. A little bit smaller, certainly in England there. You can see on the right hand side a little bit more water than there normally is. That's because the seas have risen. The polar ice caps not quite as large as they once were, and parts of the country flooded. Netherlands as well being hit. As you can see, it happens all over the world. But there's England. There it is. 1,300 years ago. There's a lad down there playing a computer game. So we've got the moon here actually, so we want to go to the moon next. Probably man's greatest ever achievement, I would say, is flying a ship to the moon, landing on it and coming back again. That's really quite incredible when you think that when that was done, the computer I'm playing this game on now was infinitesimally more powerful than the computers they were using. Your mobile phone, you know, or the computer you're watching this on, or even the TV you're watching this on, had more processing power than the computers they used to send man to the moon. Quite incredible, really. So here we are, the moon coming up. Rocky body. We can't land on the moon, I don't think, as far as I'm aware. I mean, I say that, but we could give it a go, I guess. There's no landing points on it, so no, there isn't. I think it looks incredible though, actually, the moon. And no, we can't land on it because I think I would have incredible. Let's go to the capital ship next. This is something a little bit different. It's obviously not one of the planets in our solar system, but it's an interesting little thing they put in. This is so Earth and this solar system is controlled by the Federation, and well, obviously, the Federation is kind of the home to Earth. It's not necessarily the good guys, by the way. So I mean, it's not kind of like your Star Trek or whatever, where the Federation is the 100% the good guys, but generally actually have to drop out of light speed here to access this capital ship. There we go. And there we are. So you can see here one of the pride, I guess, of the Federation Navy, the capital ship here. A Farragut-class battlecruiser, the Vanguard. I can't get too close to her or else she will open fire on me, even though she's friendly. Let's see how close I can get. I'm assuming she'll give me a warning if I get too close. But yeah, the firepower on this thing could pretty much wipe me out. There you go. Back off with that saying. So we will definitely do that. Because that thing can wipe me off the face of the planet. So we had a look at Earth and the Moon, and you'll notice some famous leaders. The space stations named after them. Mercury we've been to, Venus we've been to, next up Mars.
Frameshift drive charging. 4, 3, 2, 1, engage.
Mars, of course, if you've seen the film The Martian, very recently with Matt Damon, talks about a mission to Mars. Obviously that one goes wrong, but I know that there's kind of lots of plans in the future for manned missions to Mars, and that would definitely be a massive achievement for them to be able to send a manned mission to Mars and maybe bring them back again, or maybe even keep them there possibly. I know there's been talk of that as well. But it would take many, many years to get to Mars currently with the technology we have, so it's something to bear in mind for people. It's not like trip down the shops, or to see your auntie. So look what else we've got. So Mars, I think what we'll do is we'll go to Mars and we'll dock at Mars High. I love the sound of Mars High. Just probably slow down a little bit, or else we might end up going straight past Mars. Also, maybe you've seen the film Total Recall, the original one, I'd say, featured as an Earth colony on Mars as well. Quite a cult classic film. I remember watching it when I was younger and being quite blown away by it. So Mars currently, famously, if you look at it, it's a red planet. But what's this Mars coming up to now? It's blue. So, it has in fact been terraformed. So it is now Earth-like, basically. It's not kind of completely like Earth. There are still kind of the red desert areas of it, but you can see that whereas you would think we'd be able to land on Mars because it's a rocky planet, but no, look at this water, abundance of water, weather system like Earth. it's actually the other side of Mars, so tell you what we'll do, we'll have a little look at Mars as we go by. Wow, super cool. There we go, it's Mars Eye. Mars Eye Space Station. Here we go. Here is Mars Eye Space Station. Looking pretty good. Slightly different design, actually, to be fair to the ones we've normally seen. Very cool, nevertheless. Let's request some docking with them.
Docking request granted.
You'll notice they're calling me respected ally. It's because I've done a bit of work for the Federation. We're going to landing pad number 18. You'll notice that it looks a little bit different to a normal space station. Actually, now I've got to try and find landing pad number 18. Hello. 13 is there. 18. There we go. So yeah, you'll notice it looks very different. Looks a lot posher, doesn't it, than our normal space station. Which is really, really cool. I really like the way this one looks. Like you've got palm trees, things like that. We'll have a little look when we just before we touch down. So a little look around. So yeah, you can see it's a very posh space station. I guess as you would imagine in the kind of centre of the galaxy, as it were.
Docking successful. Engines
There we go. We'll repair and refuel. So there we go, guys. We've had a look up to Mars in the solar system. We've obviously got a few more planets to go. We've got some moons as well, which we can land on and have a look at, which is super cool. And hopefully you've enjoyed this so far. Next time, as I say, we'll do a bit more of exploration, go around, and then I'm going to go off and do some deep space exploration myself and have a look. So thank you ever so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.